Welcome back. Today I want to run through the idea of motion versus action. I talk about this with pretty much every intern that I've had in for the last 5 or 6 years. And basically when interns come in, a lot of them have these really great grand plans of what they want to do with their career, what they want to do in regards to helping people in the industry. And I love to talk about this idea of motion versus action. So what's the difference between the two? Motion is kind of this act of planning to prepare and come up, you're scheming and you're basically coming up with ideas as to what you want to do with the future, what you want to do with your plans, what you want your outcome to look like. And action is like pulling the trigger. It's like actionable things that will create an outcome. I see this a lot in the exercise science industry where people have these huge plans of starting gyms or starting online businesses or what have you, where they're planning and they're creating this concept and there's a lack of execution. So they spent all this time talking about and looking at what other people were doing in the industry, but they never actually did it themselves. They never took any actionable steps to creating the outcome. Same goes with fitness. You know, people watch workout videos, they look for the best plan that's on Google or whatever website they're looking at, but they never actually show up to the gym, right? And same thing with diet is people are literally always Googling like the newest, trendiest diets from keto to carnivore, vegan, whatever, when in reality, just Googling those things or even learning more about them doesn't give you the outcome that's desired. You know, in the business sector, people want a successful business. In fitness, people want to be able to move well and have good heart health. And in the diet industry, people want to lose weight or gain weight or whatever the outcome is, without actually meal prepping or cooking the food and then eating the food. It doesn't happen, right? Same thing with fitness. Like if you don't show up to the gym and you don't make any kind of gains, you're not going to see progress in moving well or big improvements in heart health. So that's kind of your difference between motion and action. So I'm absolutely a huge proponent for pushing every intern that comes in here to take action, to stop waiting to train people, like train their friends and family, to start creating programs and start working with people. And all the time their response is like, oh, like I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. And that's kind of like where people get stuck, is they're constantly planning and they're constantly in motion and they never like pull the trigger. They never just like start doing those things that they're really uncomfortable with. And that's not to say that motion or planning and preparing is a bad thing. Obviously that's a very, very good thing. Like if somebody's in debt and they have this plan, they come up with this plan to reduce their debt and finance, well, that's great. Now just press the go button. But first, maybe they needed that plan so they could stick to it. So once you have it, press the go button. Even if it's tiny little gains, that's the biggest thing with, if you're okay with something over nothing, that is going to be what gives you super long-term success. And that's what I encourage all the interns, every client I ever have. It's like, just learn something from this experience. Even if a client had a binge on the weekend, it's like, that's not a loss. Let's learn something from it, you know? If you're gonna go out drinking and go into a social occasion, don't chalk it up to a loss. You know, it's like, let's learn something from the situation. What do you enjoy consuming in those situations, and how do we plan for it in the future, you know? So, you know, if something's better than nothing, that's gonna help you in your long-term outcome. So that's kind of your difference between your motion and action. I'm gonna obviously encourage you to press the go button, to take action, to do the things that are gonna make you uncomfortable. I used to always tell clients, get comfortable being uncomfortable, and if you're okay doing that, that's where growth happens. That's where progress happens. And that's going to take you to whatever your desired outcome is, or at least takes you closer to it. So that's my thoughts for the month, and we will see you next month.